Would you consider you and Gervonta friends?
Friends? Probably.
Is it going to be hard to go in the ring and fight your friend?
Not at all.
Are you all going to be friends after?
Yeah, why not?
Either way it goes.
Both making money. Yeah.
But you guys are making each other bleed.
Hopefully I just make him bleed.
Oh, true. Okay.
And Gervonta Tank Davis just been released to the public. We know now, December 14th, Houston, Texas, he's going to be facing a very tough opponent in Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight, and I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about why Roach, because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Tank Davis recently opened up about the cancellation of his highly anticipated fight with Lamont Roach, a match that had fans buzzing with excitement. Everyone was looking forward to seeing the two fighters go head-to-head, but some unexpected issues caused the event to fall apart, leaving fans disappointed. In his own words, Davis made it clear that this fight meant more than just another bout for him. "I do it for myself, but I also do it for the people who've been with me," he said. "My whole family is from DC, and they've always supported me. This is bigger than just me, it's for everyone who's had my back from the beginning." Davis' message was simple yet powerful, showing his deep connection with his roots and the people who stood by him. "They're all going to celebrate with me when the time comes, no doubt about it. It's going to be a full-on party, and you best believe I'll let everyone know." Now there's this guy named Shaq. He's been talking all tough, trying to act like he's got something to prove. But let me tell you, on my kids, when it came down to it, he was just all talk. He was shaking. But here's the thing, it's got to be more than just words. This guy is playing the long game. He's been setting things up, and he's been in the boxing game since he was a kid, just like me. You can see the experience he brings to the table, even in his last fight. It's clear he's been at this for a long time. When you look at Frank Martin, it's clear that he's still got a lot to learn. His experience isn't anywhere near Tank's level. Tank's been around the game long enough to show what real skill and experience look like. The build-up to the Davis vs. Roach fight had everyone on the edge of their seats. Both fighters were training hard, getting ready for what was going to be a massive showdown. Davis, in particular, was all about sharpening his skills and staying in peak physical condition. This fight was more than just another match for him. It was a chance to take his career to the next level and show the world he's ready for bigger challenges. For Tank Davis, this fight was a chance to show the world why he's one of the top boxers out there. It wasn't just another fight, it was a way for him to prove he's on a different level. As for Lamont Roach, this was his moment to shine. He had the chance to prove himself against a big name and maybe even pull off a career-changing victory. Now, some people keep saying Roach is smaller, but honestly, size isn't everything. It's about heart and determination. Roach believes he's going to knock Tank out, grab that purse, and walk away with some serious money. If you think boxing is just about being the biggest guy in the ring, you're in the wrong game. It's about the will to win and the strategy behind it. You can't go into a fight thinking you'll win against everyone, but if you pick me because you think it's going to be an easy win, you're making a big mistake. Everyone knows that's not going to happen, and deep down, he knows it too. Honestly, I think he chose me because he knows I'm going to be one of the toughest challenges he's ever faced in his career. In his interview, Davis didn't hold back. He was clearly frustrated and disappointed by the situation. He was really looking forward to this fight, and it hit him hard when things didn't play out the way he expected. When the fight got canceled, Davis was really open about how hard he worked to get ready for it. He talked about all the long hours he spent training and the sacrifices he made to make sure he was in the best shape possible. As for people saying he's just fighting for money, Davis made it clear that's not the case. He's being smart about his choices. He reminded everyone that in the amateur world, they fought twice before, and he came out on top both times. When asked about their relationship, Davis kept it real. "Are we friends? We're cordial," he said. "He's cool with me, and I'm cool with him. I haven't heard anything negative from him, so everything's all good between us." "Oh yeah, for sure. He hasn't said anything different," Davis made it clear. "I'm just confirming he hasn't said anything bad about me." When asked if this meant Tank chose him because they're on good terms, but also because he thought he could knock him out and walk away with a nice payday, Davis didn't hold back. "Look, if you don't believe you're going to beat everyone, then you're in the wrong game. That's just how it is." The cancellation of the fight hit hard. It wasn't just a tough break for the fighters, but also for the fans who were really looking forward to seeing this big showdown. The cancellation of the fight was a big blow, not just for Davis, but for his entire team who had been working non-stop to prepare. Davis was quick to point out that the decision to call off the fight wasn't his choice, and he completely understood how frustrating it was for his fans who were excited to see the matchup. "I think he chose me because he knows I'm going to be one of the toughest challenges he's faced in his whole career," Davis explained. Honestly, really? He also shared that the fight was canceled because of unexpected circumstances that were completely out of his control. While he didn't go into all the specifics, it was clear that this wasn't something anyone could have predicted. Davis hinted at the reasons behind the fight's cancellation, mentioning some unexpected logistical problems and complications that came up as they were getting ready for the big event. He made it clear that he was really disappointed these issues couldn't be fixed in time, even though both teams worked hard to try and make it happen. But when it came to any negativity or drama surrounding the situation, Davis wasn't having it. "Don't twist my words," he said. "I'm not into that. I'm focused on what's next." He made sure to tell everyone that nothing was going to stop him. "I'm not letting anything hold me back," Davis added, showing he's determined and ready to keep pushing forward no matter what challenges come his way. Even though things didn't go as planned, Davis kept his head up and stayed positive about the future. He was determined to get back in the ring as soon as possible. "I promise you're going to pay for this," he said. "But calm down, brother. Just focus on the fight. Come on, let's do this. They might try to mess with you, get you off track, but don't let them. This is between me and you. Forget about everyone else. They're just trying to distract you, but don't let them take you off your game." Davis wasn't backing down. He was ready to keep pushing forward no matter what. Gervonta Davis is a straight-up beast, no question about it. The guy's a powerhouse and everyone knows it. Stop playing. You all know what's up. You know how I'm coming, so cut it out. You're just making it harder for him. That's all you're doing. When it comes to Lamont Roach, Davis isn't taking anything away from him. He's a great fighter, no doubt, he said. But honestly, he might be a little out of his league going up against me. Davis is confident and it's clear he's ready to show everyone exactly what he's capable of. This guy is a fighter through and through. When it comes to training and getting in top shape for a fight, he's all about making sure he's ready. For Roach, it's going to be a tough night, but don't count him out just yet. If you've ever seen him fight up close, you'll know he's sneaky good. He can land combos on you before you even realize it. He's that tricky. It's going to be a really interesting fight, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Tank Davis definitely has the experience, the skill, and that killer instinct to end the fight with almost any punch, but some people are saying the upcoming fight with Lamont Roach feels more like a money grab than a real competition. They think Tank is picking Roach because he's an easier win. The two have already faced off twice in the amateurs and Roach lost both times. So the real question is, are they friends? Is there any bad blood or is there something else going on between them? What's the deal with their relationship? It's definitely interesting to think about. So here's the deal, he's cool with me, right? And he's cool with you too. You haven't heard anything that says otherwise, right? Oh, for sure. He hasn't said anything different. I'm just double checking that nothing has changed. So does this confirm what everyone's been thinking, that he picked you on purpose? Not just because you get along easily, but because he thinks he can knock you out, take the prize, and you walk away with some nice cash. Look, if you don't see what game you're really in, you're not fully understanding the situation. So here's the situation. Tank is out here planning to beat everyone they put in front of him. He picked Roach because he thinks it's going to be an easy win, someone he can take down without breaking a sweat. Roach, on the other hand, is getting called out for taking the fight mainly for the money, not because he's looking for a real challenge. Tank's mindset, he believes he's going to knock you out, take the purse, and you'll walk away with a nice paycheck. But here's the thing, man, if you don't think you're going to beat everyone in this game, then maybe you're in the wrong sport. But if you're saying you're ready for this and you're up for the challenge, that's a whole different story. So he picked me thinking it's going to be a walk in the park? A cakewalk? Nah, everyone knows that's not how it's going down. And deep down, he knows that too. I honestly believe he picked me because I'm going to be one of the toughest challenges he's ever faced in his whole career. Lamont Roach is making it clear his fight with Tank isn't just about the paycheck. He believes Tank might see him as an easy target, but Roach knows he's bringing something different to the table. This fight is going to be a real challenge for Tank, no doubt about it. So here's the thing, Roach thinks Tank sees this fight as an easy win, almost like it's a piece of cake. He points out that he's the champion at 130 lbs, while Tank fights at 135 lbs. Roach believes if Tank really wanted a real challenge, he could have stepped up and faced fighters in higher weight classes like Canelo Alvarez instead of choosing him. But Roach also makes it clear that Tank fighting Canelo isn't realistic since Canelo fights at 168 lbs in the super middleweight division. The weight difference is massive, and that's just not something Tank is ready for. It's all about the weight, and Roach knows that's a big factor. So you had to get permission just to move up to the lightweight division for this fight, right? Because you're the champion at 130 lbs. Yeah, I'm the champ at 130 and Tank fights at 135. So why not fight other top fighters in higher weight classes like Canelo? I keep hearing people ask, why is he not fighting Canelo instead of Roach? Man, people really want to see that Canelo fight. I hear it all the time. It's wild how many people are pushing for that matchup. Say that's crazy. Lamont Roach makes it clear that his upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis isn't motivated by money. He views Tank as an easy opponent, saying he will be a simple challenge for him. So Roach is saying Tank might think this fight will be an easy win, almost like a piece of cake. He's the champion at 130 lbs, while Tank fights at 135 lbs. But when people ask why it was so easy for Tank against Frank Martin, Roach explains that Frank was inexperienced and nervous at the time. It is what it is, but Roach makes it clear it's going to be a whole different fight when he steps in the ring. He's bringing a whole new level of challenge for Tank. Roach is saying that when Tank faces him, it's going to be a whole different fight. He's always looking for a knockout no matter what. He's ready to go the full 12 rounds, but if the chance to knock Tank out comes up, he's taking it. He also points out that if Tank really wanted a competitive fight, he could have gone after bigger names in higher weight classes like Canelo Alvarez. But let's be real, Tank fighting Canelo is pretty unrealistic, especially with that big weight difference. So we know Canelo fights at 168 lbs in the super middleweight division, and Tank has said he plans to retire by the end of next year. Do you think he's already thinking about leaving the sport? Yeah, for sure. I think it was a mistake for him to say that, especially in front of me. Now, I'm going to take full advantage of that and show him why he shouldn't have said it, or why retirement shouldn't even be on his mind right now. Boxing analyst Showbiz The Adult recently weighed in on the Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach fight, sharing his thoughts on what's really on the line here. He's really disappointed because he sees this fight as a mismatch. He feels like Tank Davis is being avoided by some of the top fighters in the division, which is why he's facing opponents like Roach instead of more competitive ones. Here's my take on it. Everything he's saying makes sense. Tank has been ducked by some of the best out there. Shakur Stevenson avoided him, Lomachenko avoided him, and even El Rue didn't want to fight him this year. He wanted to push it to next year. Another thing I've heard is that Tank is pushing for that 135 lb weight limit with rehydration clauses, which is part of why he's facing these kinds of opponents. Kind of underscore, so, but I don't know how true that is, which it wouldn't shock me if that was true either way. For whatever reason, Elo fell apart. The options were just getting diabolical. All right, I understand that. At the same time, Lamont Roach versus Tank is trash. If Devin Haney announced he fight Lamont Roach coming up from 130 next at 135, I'll say that shit's trash. Let me tell you this, to me, Gervonta is far better than Devin Haney, so it's trash, bro. It's trash. Floyd Schofield, another boxer in the lightweight division, is really heating up, and one fighter is speaking out about Gervonta Davis's focus leading up to the Roach fight. Schofield says Tank would be better off keeping his eyes on the opponent rather than getting distracted by things like social media or personal issues. I'm feeling good. Ready to go, he says. Thanks for your time, I appreciate it. Every fight is important right now, especially with everything that's coming up. It's getting closer. I was just talking to Oscar about it. So, you're this close to a potential Gervonta Davis fight. What does that feel like for you at this point in your career? It feels incredible. This is exactly what we've been working toward, being ranked number 2 in the WBA. It's like a dream coming true. I haven't won the belt yet, but this is what I've worked my whole life for, with my dad by my side. When the opportunity comes, we're going to be more than ready. For Roach, it really feels like a dream come true. He uses the opportunity to address the concerns about his weight class, saying he's comfortable fighting at 130 lbs, even though some people think he's too small. Tank isn't the biggest 135-pound fighter out there, Roach says. Most of the guys he fights are bigger than him. The only one smaller than Tank was Pitbull, but even then, it was just in height. Pitbull was technically bigger than Tank in other ways, but that's just how it goes. Tank is comfortable fighting at 135 lbs, and I get it. I don't blame him for staying there, but let's be real, he's not a big 135-pound guy. I don't understand why people keep calling me the smaller fighter. To me, it's not a big deal. They're going to keep saying it, but I'm not worried about it. I fight at 130 lbs because that's where I started my career. It's where I've always fought, and it's where I earned my world title. That's my weight class, and that's where I'm going to keep grinding. My plan has always been to move up to 135 lbs and win another title. It just happened a little earlier than I expected. I've fought at 135 before, but it wasn't technically a full 135-pound fight. When a boxer starts their career, sometimes the fights don't always fit perfectly into the weight class, but now I'm ready to take on the challenge and make that move to 135 for real. Don't necessarily have to make 130 pounds because we're not in title contention or none of that, so the opponents that I was getting, the opponents that were there or were available, opponents that were. The fighters I faced early on were probably bigger or they just couldn't make weight. Like that one time I was supposed to fight at 132 lbs, but my opponent came in a pound over. They made him drop the extra weight, and I just went and had breakfast before weighing in. It happens, you know? That's just how things go when you're starting out in boxing. Everyone doesn't always fight at the weight they're supposed to, and some people end up fighting at different weights than they're campaigning for. It's just part of the journey. Lamont Roach was pretty confused and frustrated when his fight with Tank Davis got called off. Tank posted on social media saying the fight was canceled, but Roach didn't take that lightly. He quickly responded, saying it wasn't true and that he was still getting ready for the fight. On his Instagram story, he posted, "You all keep asking me about it, but I'm still preparing for the fight. Expletive, not me. I'm locked in. Ain't changed. March 1st, Brooklyn. Honestly, I work my ass off too." So when Tank says he's going to retire at the end of next year, do you think he's already thinking about leaving the sport? Yeah, for sure. I think it was a mistake for him to say that, especially in front of me. I'm going to take advantage of it and show him why he shouldn't have said that or be thinking about retiring just yet. And when he talks about you not bringing your family, what goes through your mind when you hear that? I'm not worried about it. It doesn't bother me at all. So what advantage do you feel you have going into this fight? I think I bring something new to the ring that Tank hasn't faced before. Stephen A. Smith, a well-known sports commentator, also weighed in on the Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach fight. He mentioned that Roach might be at a disadvantage because of his size. Smith pointed out that Roach is smaller, and with Tank being the bigger fighter, he could have the advantage. He also talked about the weight difference between them. Stephen A. Smith also pointed out that Tank Davis is moving up in weight, and that could play a big role in how the fight goes. When asked about the fight between Tank and Roach, Stephen A. shared his thoughts, saying, "I think Roach is just too small for this fight. It's not about his skills, I'm not questioning that. But it reminds me of when Tank fought Frank Martin. Roach is stepping in against a bigger guy, and that size difference could really make a difference in the fight." I remember watching the press conference before the fight, and how Frank Martin got under Gervonta Davis' skin so much that he accidentally dropped a curse word. He was talking about how Davis hurt him in sparring, and I could tell that Tank was going to go after him. And sure enough, from round one, that's exactly what happened. Davis went straight for him. What do you think about the cancellation of the Gervonta Davis vs. Lamont Roach fight? Let us know your thoughts and join the conversation below.
Be in good spirits if I had an 8 today. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Obviously, an important fight for you. Every fight at this point is an important fight for you because of what you know is looming. It's close. I was just talking to Oscar about, another successful fight. You're this close to a potential Gervonta Davis fight. Like, what does that feel like for you at this stage in your career?
It feels good because, this is the things that we worked for. Me being number 2 in the WBA, it's just like a dream come true almost. I didn't collect the belt yet, but I worked my whole life for this, me and my dad, So when the opportunity presents itself, we're going to be more than ready. But it's a dream come true, really.